All right, Thomas, there's a movie that I've actually had been looking forward to for quite a while during award season when I heard they were doing this film focusing on early Hollywood. Damien Chazelle, who's really a pretty amazing filmmaker, great director. He's done a variety of different types of films. And I thought, well, he's taking on early Hollywood. We'll kind of see how this goes. The movie's called Babylon, but I'm going to get to it right away. It was overbloated, it was decadent, gratuitous, and there were gross out scenes in all the wrong ways. So you can see where I'm heading with this. Did I love it? Absolutely not. I'm not going to waste a whole lot of time, but I will give you a little background, Thomas. The story does follow Hollywood's transition from silent films into the talkies, and it spends, to me, way too much time trying to balance itself between satire, even bordering on parody, and it was pushing the limits just because it could. Because of that, it kind of stumbles and it loses its way. 3 hours, 8 minutes long. For this kind of film, you would think, okay, it's an epic Hollywood type of film. It should work. For me, it didn't. Positives for me, the production design, the costumes, hair and makeup, the score, I really appreciated that. And Margot Robbie, initially, when I saw her on screen, I felt like, okay, I've seen Margot Robbie in this kind of thing before. It didn't feel like there was any depth to it, didn't feel like there was anything new. But as the story progressed, she was the only thing that kind of held my attention. We did see a pretty interesting character arc with her, and also another acting talent.
Time to go make a movie.
Manny, he wants to do anything related to movies. He's finally working for a big producer.
Diego Calva is the name that I'm going to say. This really is a major ensemble-driven film, Thomas. Tobey Maguire's in this. Flea is in this. Samara Weaving, Gene Smart, Brad Pitt, and more. So there's a big cast in this, but too many characters, too many situations. There are scenes that are designed to shock and disturb, and they do that. So much so that honestly I wanted to turn it off in the first 15 minutes, but I did stick with it. The film did lack cohesiveness, so it had struggles. It was overshadowed by, I think, Damien Chazelle, who was the writer and the director. He was, I think, being overly ambitious, much overly ambitious, wanting to explore the rise and fall of filmmakers during this time of unchecked decadence and perversion. R rating for this, and if you're wondering why, well, here's what the MPA says, the reasons why. Graphic nudity, drug use, bloody violence, persuasive language, strong and crude sexual content. So all those across the board, yeah, solid R rating.
All right, so I'm going to tie this back together, but bear with me here.
Okay.
So the show Community, a
Yes.
favorite of ours.
Yes.
There is an episode of Community where it's about branching timelines and alternate universes. There is one 5-second clip from that show that's become one of the most popular GIFs of all time, and it's Donald Glover's character just walking into a room and seeing basically everything on fire and just looking around like, what the heck is going on? It seems like that's pretty much what this movie is, right?
Oh yeah, and it looked pretty amazing, except for some scenes I'm not going to talk about. But like I said, the production design, the technical aspects looked incredible. But yeah, it was like this just crazy, chaotic fire of just things going on all over the place. And some people are loving it, some people are hating it, some people are kind of in the middle. I think from a grade standpoint, I'm giving this a C. Only because of the technical achievements that were there. And that stuff was pretty phenomenal, and Margot Robbie. But the movie as a whole, it failed for me. It really did fail for me.
Yeah, and recently we watched another Brad Pitt film from 2022. We watched Bullet Train. I think you and I are both big fans of that one. How would you compare his performance in that to his performance in Babylon? Yeah,
Brad Pitt, I felt like I'd seen him do this kind of thing before. And some of the scenes just didn't work for me. He was not a strong part of this film.
Yeah, I was looking forward to Babylon. I loved Chazelle's work on La La Land. I liked First Man from a technical level, right. But emotionally that was one. It was kind of emotionally distant, emotionally cold.
Whiplash.
Whiplash. I actually haven't seen Whiplash yet, but it's on the list. But I was looking forward to Babylon, but after hearing you talk about it, and then seeing the 3-hour runtime, I don't know that I want to sit through 3 hours.
I will say this: I do appreciate Damien Chazelle's ability to want to explore different types of films, because if you look at the versatility, La La Land, pure musical, celebrating Hollywood. Whiplash, in many ways, almost a documentary style of filmmaking. And First Man, I mean, that's a completely different type of film. So I do appreciate him deciding to branch out and try new things. That's something that I think is admirable. But that doesn't mean that everything's going to work and everything's going to hit. And for this one, it just did not for me. So a C rating for Babylon, which is in theaters now. Another film.
We've got to innovate. We've got to inspire. What happens up on that screen means something.